Hey guys, welcome to this practice. My name is Tomasin. Today is going to be a little bit of a spicy flow, so modify when you need to modify. Hit pause when you need to hit pause. It's the beauty of technology. And do your very best. If you feel triggered or frustrated moving through this practice, don't run away from that. Move into that and breathe deeper, because usually there's something on the other side of that that's trying to come through that we just aren't willing to allow to come to the surface. So through the movements, I'm going to challenge you a lot and allow yourself to be challenged. Move into the challenge and then just breathe deeper and see what comes up for you. Yoga is not all ease and grace and peace all the time. It's meant to dig up the bullshit. It's meant to peel away, chisel away at the layers of conditioning and untruths that we carry so that our true self can shine through a little bit more and we can be more free and at peace. So with that, let's start our practice. I'm going to be playing music in my ears. I have my earbuds in. I'm going to be leaving the playlist below for you to follow along to if you like, or you can find your own tunes to jam to, or no tunes at all. It's totally up to you. This is your practice, your time on your mat. So I'm going to hit play. And we're going to begin. We're going to start in a child's pose today. Bringing the knees nice and wide, bringing the big toes to touch, bringing the forehead down to the ground. And then just allowing your shoulders to soften. Allowing your jaw to soften. Feeling the toenails on the ground, the tops of the feet. Feeling your hips, your sit bones a little bit heavier into the heels. Feeling the third eye, the middle of the brow, pressing into the ground. And now tuning into your breath as you inhale, feel the ribs expand to either sides of the mat. On the exhale, feel them move towards one another, towards the midline. On the inhale, feel a gentle rise of the back body towards the ceiling as your belly moves towards the floor. On the exhale, feel the body soften down into the ground. On the inhale, feel the belly expand like a balloon, feeling the belly press into the tops of the thighs. And on the exhale, soften. And now, as you breathe like this, creating an intention from the heart space. How do you want to feel on your mat today? What do you want to experience? And then allow that intention to bubble up from the heart to the third eye, into the ground as if you're planting a seed. And then just calling in the most benevolent outcome possible or better for your practice, for whatever unfolds. Having the intention of your practice being the water, the sun, the soil,
the love and the nurturing that that seed needs to grow in abundance. Taking one more deep inhale here. And exhale. Slowly inhaling up onto all fours. Spread the fingers wide. And then rotate the biceps towards the front of the mat. Tuck your tailbone slightly. Begin to move in circles around the wrists, bringing the shoulders over the fingertips. And just having the intention here to show your wrists some love, some attention. Noticing how they feel, not to judge, but just to notice and become aware. Rotating the other direction. Staying with your breath. Coming back to center. Flip the fingertips so the fingertips are facing the knees. The forearms are facing the front of the mat. This might be enough for you. That's totally cool. If you have a little bit more freedom in the wrists and the forearms, you can tuck your toes and slowly begin to slide the hips back towards the heels, peel the palms off the ground, and then rock it forward. Rocking it back and rocking it forward. One more time, rocking it back and rocking it forward. Bring the knees to touch and then bring the big toes to touch. Keep your toes tucked and then sit down onto the heels. Lift the arms up in front of you. Make fists with your hands and start to rotate them in one direction. And then rotate the other direction. And then open and close, open and close. And then come back on to all fours. Drop your head, the top of your head down towards the ground. Look in between your thighs. And now, as if your top of the head is a pencil, begin to scribble the pencil on a blank page. Begin to move it around. And then allow that movement to move down the neck into the shoulders, into the belly, into the hips. Closing the eyes down, begin to search for the places that are a little tight, a little closed, need a little breath, a little freedom, a little opening. Perhaps you start to cat-cow and undulate the spine, tucking chin to chest and rounding, inhaling, arching, lifting the head high. Perhaps you start to rotate the ribs around in circles. And staying with your breath, really looking for the areas that need a little bit of loving. Becoming more and more intimate with your body. Maybe pushing the hips back towards the heels and then rounding forward and dropping the hips down to the ground. Do what feels good here to you. We're so used to being linear in our bodies, mechanical. Look for a flow here. Make it nonsensical. Taking one more breath here. And exhale, coming back to all fours. Tuck your toes, spread the fingers wide, rotate the biceps towards the front of the room, and then lift and hover the knees off the ground about an inch, and then squeeze the hands towards one another, the knees and the ankles towards one another. Tuck the tailbone and knit the lower ribs towards one another. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, slowly lower the knees down to the ground. As you lower them, down to the ground. Inhale, lift the heart space, push the hips back towards the heels. Look forward into an active child's pose. On your exhale, round forward, dropping the thighs, the hips and the belly down to the ground. Baby cobra. Untuck your toes. Press the toenails down to the ground as you squeeze the ankles towards one another. Draw the kneecaps up towards the hips, and then a slight tuck of the tailbone. Cinch at the waist, push into the ground by the palms just a little bit and lift the crown of the head. Squeeze the elbows towards one another. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, slowly push back all fours into your downward facing dog. Keep the knees slightly bent here. Push the palms away from you as you move the feet towards the outside of the mat. And then slowly begin to pendulum your hips from side to side. If you want to spend a little extra time on one side, you totally can. You can always pause this video whenever you feel really good in something and you want to stay a little bit longer. Take one more deep inhale here and exhale. Walk the feet back underneath the hips. Look up in between the hands as if you're plugging your thigh bone up into your hip socket. Use your pelvic wall to pull up and in and lift the toes up off the ground, little tiny tiptoes all the way up to the front of the mat. Once you're there, inhale, flat back. Exhale, walk your hands over towards the left and then walk them away from you. Pull the right hip back, accordion the left side body. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. Walking your hands all the way back through center, moving over towards the right. And then walk your hands away from you. Pull the left hip back, move the right hip forward. Take a deep inhale. And exhale. Walk the hands all the way back to center. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, nose to knee. Inhale, glide the hands all the way above the head. Bring palms to touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands high to the sky. Exhale, clasp the hands behind your head. Tuck your tailbone. And then draw the lower ribs towards one another as you lift the ribs away from the hips. Press the back of the head into the skull. Lift the heart space towards the ceiling. On your exhale, begin to tuck your chin to your chest. Bring the elbows towards one another. Bend the knees slightly and begin to round forward. Bending the knees as much as you need to in order to touch your elbows towards your knees. Take a deep inhale. On your exhale, pull the pelvic wall up and in and begin to straighten your legs just a tiny bit. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, straighten just a little bit. Keep pulling that pelvic wall up and in. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, bend the knees if they're straight. Slowly rock all the way back up to stand. Head is the last thing to come up, and then you open up the elbows. Take a deep inhale. Exhale over towards the right. Lift the left elbow towards the ceiling. Inhale, center. Exhale over towards the left. Inhale, center. Reach the hands high. Exhale, sweep them behind your back, right at the tailbone, and clasp the hands. Bend the elbows towards one another. Inhale, lift the heart space, and then reach the arms away from the tailbone. Exhale, forward fold, keeping the knees bent if you need. Once you're forward in your forward fold, let the head go. Shake it yes, shake it no. Take one more deep inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, come halfway up. Keep the knees slightly bent. Extend the arms out to the sides. Move the tailbone towards the back of the mat. Move the heart space towards the front of the mat. And then knit the ribs towards one another. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back, plank pose. Now again, rotate the biceps towards the front of the room. Squeeze the hands towards one another. Tuck your tailbone, knit the lower ribs towards one another, and then draw the kneecaps up towards the hips. And then squeeze the ankles towards one another. So everything's squeezing towards the center line. Look forward above your mat. It's very common for people to drop their heads. Try not to do that. Begin to make big circles around the wrists. Take your time here. Good, and we go the other direction, reversing. Keep pushing from the palms up into the back of the heart space. Don't let the hips drop down. Come back to center. Inhale, rock forward, bring the shoulders over the fingertips. Drop the knees, the chin and the chest down to the ground. Untuck your toes. Move the pubic bone towards your sternum. Slither through into a baby cobra. Take a deep inhale. Press the toenails down to the ground. And then lift and hover the hands. Keep cinching at the waist. Squeeze the elbows towards one another. And then feel like the shoulder blades are moving down the back. Now press the toes down to the ground and feel the energy running up the legs, up the spine, into the crown of the head. Take a deep inhale. Feel the heat that's building in the back body. Exhale, place the hands down to the ground. Come onto all fours, tuck your toes, push back, downward facing dog. Keep the knees bent. Push the hands away from you as you press the pointer finger and the thumb down to the ground. And then move the triceps towards one another into the center line. You're gonna feel a spreading of your shoulder blades. Knit the lower ribs towards one another. And then feel as if you're tucking the tailbone just slightly. Keep pushing the hands away from you. Take another deep inhale. And exhale. Look up in between the hands, little tiny tiptoes. See if you can lift your toes up a little bit higher this time. And don't be mechanical running to the top of your mat. Take your time here, go slow. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, nose to knee. Inhale, root to rise. Bring palms to touch above your head. Exhale, hands into heart space. Inhale, hands high. Keeping the palms touching, exhale over towards the right. Really land the left heel down to the ground. Keep tucking your tailbone. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale over towards the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward fold as slow and mindfully as you can. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back, plank pose. Set yourself up here. Push everything up and then squeeze everything into the center line. Inhale, rock forward onto the toes, bring the shoulders over the fingertips. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rock back. One more time, inhale, rock forward. Drop the knees, the chin and the chest down to the ground. Untuck your toes. Slither yourself into your baby cobra. Press the toenails down to the ground, activate the legs. Tuck the tailbone, hover the hands. Bring the hands out to the sides like you're flying. And then sweep them behind your back and clasp them at the tailbone. Keep the elbows bent and then move them towards one another. Cinch at the waist and then press from the toes into the crown of the head as you lift the arms away from you towards the back of the mat. Find your breath. Take one more deep inhale here. And exhale. Extend the arms out to the sides. Bring them back to hover by your ribs. Place the hands down to the ground. Push back all fours into your downward facing dog. Come high into the toes, bend the knees, and then bounce your butt. Just shake it out. Shake it, shake it, shake it. And then come to stillness. Take a deep inhale. And exhale. Look up in between the hands, little tiny tiptoes all the way up. Taking your time, being mindful. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, nose to knee. Inhale, root to rise, hands high. Bring palms to touch above your head. Exhale, hands into heart space. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank pose. Setting yourself up here, rooting everything down to the ground as you push up towards the ceiling. And now pivoting the feet over towards the left, planting the right foot on top of the left foot, extend the right arm high to the sky into your side plank. Push your left hand away from you. Feel like you're moving the left hip up into the right hip. Find your breath. Maybe you're shaking. I am a little bit. That's a good thing. Take one more deep inhale here. As slow as you can, exhale, plant the right hand down to the ground mindfully. Rolling over the toes, pivoting the feet over towards the right, lifting the left hand high to the sky. Push your right hand away from you as you move the right hip up into the left hip. Find your shake. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, slowly planting that left hand down to the ground as mindfully as possible. Inhale, rock forward onto your toes, bring the shoulders over the fingertips, drop the knees, the chin and the chest down to the ground, booties in the air. Untuck your toes. Inhale, slither through into your baby cobra. Now, hover the hands and then hover the feet. Lift them up. Spread the toes wide. Draw the kneecaps up towards the hips. Tuck the tailbone. Bend your knees and bring them towards your sit bones. And then lift the thighs up off of the ground even more as you lift the chest up even more. Extend the arms out to the sides. And then sweep the hands as if you're gonna grab your ankles, but don't do it yet. Inhale, lift everything a little higher. At the same time, in the same way, grab onto your ankles or the tops of the feet. Kick the feet into the hands as you lift the heart space. Keep cinching at the waist. Keep squeezing the inner thighs towards one another. Find your breath. Take one more deep inhale and exhale. Now we're gonna let go, but you're not gonna go anywhere and you're not gonna lose the strength here. So releasing the ankles, but staying put. Extend the arms out to the sides, extend the legs behind you. Hover the hands by the ribs. Tuck your toes. Press the hands and the toes down to the ground. Push back all fours into your downward facing dog. Find your breath, take a deep inhale. And then flutter your lips on the exhale. Do that 2 more times, inhale. One more, inhale. Look up in between your hands, little tiny tiptoes all the way up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, nose to knee. Inhale, root to rise, hands high, palms touch above the head. Exhale into heart center. Close the eyes down. And just take a moment to feel into your body. Notice the sensations. Notice the heartbeat. Notice what's coming on, what's being charged up. Gently blinking open the eyes. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back, plank pose. Hold here. Pivot the feet over towards the left. Extend the right hand high to the sky. Lift the right leg off of the left leg. Begin to turn the heart space towards the ceiling as you reach the right fingertips towards the front of the mat, and then place your right foot behind your left foot. Now keep turning the left ribs towards the right ribs as you move your heart space towards the ceiling. Take a deep inhale. Push the left hand away from you. And exhale. Inhale, bring the right fingertips back towards the ceiling. Bring your right foot back on top of your left foot. Slowly place the right hand down to the ground. Pivot over the feet, over the toes, I should say. And then come on over towards the right. Stack your left hip on top of the right foot. Extend the left hand high to the sky. Push your right hand away from you. And then lift the left foot off of the right foot. Begin to move your heart space towards the ceiling slowly as you reach your left fingertips towards the front of the mat. And then place the left toe, the left foot, right behind the right foot. And then push your right hand away from you. Feel like you're swelling the back of the heart up into the front of the heart. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, bring the left fingertips back high to the sky. Bring your left foot back on top of the right foot. And then place the left hand down to the ground. Now listen, swell everything towards the ceiling. Knit the lower ribs towards one another. Tuck the tailbone. Inhale, rock forward. You can come back down onto your knees again if you need to, or exhale, come into your chaturanga. Don't let the shoulders drop below the elbows. Untuck your toes. Inhale, up dog. Push from the palms up into the crown of the head. Exhale from the pelvic wall into your downward facing dog. Good. Shake your head around. Give yourself a couple sighs. Maybe shake the booty. Wiggle it from side to side. Push the palms away from you. Lift your right leg high to the sky from the inner thigh. Have a slight bend in your left knee, and then push the hands away even more and lift the right leg even higher. Take a deep inhale. Exhale your right knee to your right tricep. Move as slow as you can. Inhale, lift that leg high, three-legged down dog. Exhale, knee to nose, round through your spine. Touch your knee to your nose, knee to nose, knee to nose. Inhale, lift it back high. Exhale, right knee, left tricep. Inhale, lift it high. This time, exhale, knee to nose. I'm losing my earbud. Knee to nose. Now really round here. Pull the knee into the chest even more, and then pull the heel into the glute even more. Look in between your hands. Gently, quietly place that foot in between the hands. Come onto the fingertips. And now feel as if you're squeezing your right heel and your left toes towards one another. Engaging the inner thighs. Pull the pelvic wall up and in as you glide the fingertips high to the sky. Good, now keep pulling that right hip back, moving the left hip forward, and then really engage this left leg by pulling the kneecap up towards the left hip. And then cinch at the waist and tuck the tailbone. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, sprinkle the fingertips down to the ground as you straighten the right leg. Stay up on the left toes, lift the left heel into the left hip. Pull the right hip back, move the left hip forward. Inhale, exhale, knee to nose. Let your head go, maybe shake it yes, shake it no. Take one more deep inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, come back up onto the fingertips. Plant the hands. Plug the the right thigh bone up into the hip socket and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg from the inner thigh. Bend the right knee slightly. Push the hands away from you and then lift that left leg even higher. Exhale, bring your left knee to your left tricep, moving slow. Inhale, lift that leg high. Exhale, left knee to nose. Inhale, lift it high. Exhale, left knee, right tricep. Inhale, three-legged down dog. This time, exhale, knee to nose. Hold here for a moment. Pull the knee into the chest even more. Lift the heel into the glute. And then look in between the hands, gently, quietly. Place that foot in between the hands. Come onto the fingertips. Look forward. Feel as if you're squeezing the left heel and the right toes towards one another. Pull the pelvic wall up and in as you glide the hands high to the sky, crescent pose. Pull the left hip back, move the right hip forward. And then draw the right kneecap up towards the right hip. Activate that right leg. And then cinch at the waist and have a slight tuck of the tailbone. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, sprinkling the fingertips down to the ground, straightening the left leg as you go. Pull the left hip back, move the right hip forward. Make sure your right heel is lifted and stepping into that right hip. Exhale, nose to knee. Let your head go. Let the jaw go. Take one more deep inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, flat back. Plant the hands, plug the thigh bone up into the hip socket, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward into a high plank. Exhale, slight bend in the knees, undulate your spine back into a downward facing dog. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rocking back. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Look forward in between the hands. Your choice here. You can tiptoe all the way up, you can step, or you can hop up to the front of your mat. I'm gonna hop, so that's what I'm gonna cue. Inhale high into the toes. Exhale, bend the knees out towards the sides of the mat. At the end of the exhale, jump up quietly. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, nose to knee. Inhale, hands high. Bring palms to touch. Exhale, hands into heart space. I don't know what's going on with my hair. Bring the big toes to touch. And then keeping the hands at the heart space, sit down into your chair pose. Now take your hands on the outsides of your hips. Lift your toes and spread them wide. That's gonna make you sit back and hinge at the hip a little bit more. Feel the arches of the feet lift up. And now take your hands and actually feel the outer hip muscles moving towards the inner thigh muscles. Bring your hands back into your heart space. Sit a little bit lower and then let the toes move down to the ground. Knit the lower ribs towards one another. As you press the palms together, open the heart space. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another and then down. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back, high plank pose. Inhale, rock forward, bring the shoulders over the fingertips. Look forward above your mat. Exhale, chaturanga. Untuck your toes. Inhale, up dog. Cinch at the waist. Push from the palms and the crown of the head. Exhale, from the pelvic wall, pull up. Pull the hips up towards downward facing dog. Now listen. Inhale high onto the toes. You're coming into a high plank. And then you're gonna drop the hips down towards the ground into a tuck-toed up dog. Cinch at the waist, lift the heart space. Push from the palms up into the crown of the head. Point your right toes to the back of the mat. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring your nose to your knee. Inhale, come back, extending the leg behind you. Open the heart space. Exhale, knee to nose. Extend the leg all the way back. Last time. Exhale, knee to nose. This time, inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, three-legged down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Lift the leg a little bit higher. Inhale. Exhale, bring your nose to your knee. Hover for a moment. Look in between the hands. Gently place the foot in between the hands. Bring your back leg into a warrior one. Again, squeeze, look forward, but come onto the fingertips. Squeeze the right heel and the left heel towards one another. Pull the pelvic wall up and in. Warrior one. Pulling the right hip back, gently moving the left hip forward, and then cinch at the waist. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. Get a little bit longer. Feel like you can lift the fingertips towards the ceiling just a little bit more. Exhale, sprinkling the fingertips down to the ground, coming onto the left toes. Now, hug your right heel into your right glute. Keep your right knee into the chest. Step back, high plank. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Untuck your toes. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, come high into the toes into your high plank. Slowly dropping the hips down towards the ground in your tuck-toed up dog. Don't let your shoulders collapse here. Keep pushing from the palms up into the crown of the head. And then cinch at the waist. Activate your legs. Point your left toe to the back of the mat. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend the leg all the way back. Knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to nose. Last one. Inhale, extend back. And then come into your three-legged down dog. Hold here for a moment. Have a slight bend in the right knee. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Place that foot in between the hands, gently, quietly. Bring your right foot into your warrior one. Make sure your heels are aligned and then squeeze them towards one another. Tuck the tailbone, warrior one. Keep pulling that left hip back, moving the right hip forward. And then cinch at the waist, grow the fingertips towards the ceiling. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale, sprinkle the fingertips down to the ground. Come onto the right toes. Hug the right heel into the left heel into the left glute. Hold here for a moment. Step back, plank pose. Inhale, rock it forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Slowly come up onto the toes, bend the knees, place the knees down to the ground. Untuck your toes, sit onto the heels, bring the palms onto the thighs, palms facing up, and then close the eyes down just for a moment. And just feel what's going on in your body. Feel the sensations. Feel what's coming up for you. Now Now, gently blinking open the eyes, lift the arms out in front of you and just start to rotate your wrists around. I know this can be a lot on your wrists if you're not used to it. It took me about a year for my wrists to become really strong enough for me not to even, they didn't even faze me anymore. So it's really about practicing, right? Strengthening the wrists. And when they hurt, it's about caring for them and nurturing them, but not giving up. Knowing your limits, and then knowing when the ego's kind of just trying to run you away. So just squeezing the wrists a little bit. And then coming back onto all fours. Tuck your toes, push back into your downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale. Then exhale. Inhale high onto the toes, bend the knees out towards the sides of the mat, and then inhale, jump forward or step, your choice. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, nose to knee. Inhale, chair pose. Bring the biceps by the ears. Exhale, Tadasana, hands by your side. Inhale, chair pose. And again, bring your hands into your heart space. Press the palms together firmly. Sit back, hinge at the hip. Keep the heart space open, don't collapse here. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Look down at the knees and make sure they're aligned. And then pulling up from the pelvic wall into the heart space. Press the palms together at the heart space. Begin to turn and look over your right shoulder. And then moving the crown of the head towards the front of the mat even more. Feeling as if you're wringing out your organs here. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale, coming back to center. Don't let the heart space collapse here. Keep the heart open. Sit back a little bit. And then we go the other side, bringing the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Look down at the knees, make sure they're aligned. From the pelvic wall, pulling up and in, moving into the heart space, into the throat space, and then out the crown of the head. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale, coming back to center. Open heart, open heart, open heart. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back, plank pose. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Untuck your toes. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, come high into the toes into a high plank pose. And then drop the hips down to hover above the ground as you come into a tuck-toed up dog. Press from the palms up into the back of into the crown of the head. And then move the back of the heart towards the front of the heart. Cinch at the waist. Untuck your right toes and point them to the back of your mat. Exhale, your right knee to your right tricep. Extend those toes all the way back. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Extend it back. Exhale, right knee, right tricep. Extend it back. This time, exhale, right knee, right tricep. Look at your right hand and then gently place that right foot on the outside of the right hand. And then just wiggle your hips around, move in circles or rock side to side or forward and back. And now drop that left knee down to the ground, gently. Take a sigh. Stay here just for a moment. And now gently place your elbows down to the ground. Keep squeezing the right heel and the left knee towards one another. Keep pulling the right knee towards the back of the right shoulder. Keep pulling the belly up and in, and keep looking forward above your mat. Take one more deep inhale here. And exhale. Bring your palms onto the ground. Take your left hand on the inside of your right knee and open it up. Come onto the knife edge of your right foot. And then feel like you're moving your left ribs towards your right ribs as you look over the right shoulder. Now begin to bend your left knee, pull the left heel into the glute. Reach your right arm behind you and grab onto the top of your left foot. Now place the right foot back down to the ground and then push your hips back. So it's like you're trying to kiss your left glute to your left heel. Now turn your left ribs towards your right ribs even more. Keep pushing from the left palm into the left shoulder. Take a deep inhale. Don't let your heel move away from your glute. And now move forward towards the front of the room. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Don't let that foot slingshot. Release it down. Bring the right palm down to the ground. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee off the ground. Step your right foot back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, bend the knees slightly, wave it back. Inhale, high plank. Slowly dripping the hips down towards the ground to hover, lifting the heart space into your tuck-toed up dog. Now really pressing the palms up into the crown of the head. Untuck your left toes, point them towards the back of the mat. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Extend it back, dropping the hips down towards the ground. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Extending it back. Exhale, left knee, left tricep. Extend it back. Good, this time, exhale, left knee, left tricep, hold and pause. Look at your left hand, place that left foot on the outside of your left hand. Now just stay here for a moment, and you can wiggle forward and back. You can do rotations. Good, slowly coming to stillness, drop the right knee down to the ground. And just pause for a moment. And then gently coming down onto your elbows. Take one more deep inhale here. And exhale. Slowly coming back up onto the palms. Take the left hand on the inside of the left knee and push it open. Come on the knife edge of that left foot. Now push from the right palm up into the right shoulder. And then starting to turn the right ribs towards the left ribs, look over the left shoulder. Bending your right knee, pulling the heel towards the glutes. Keeping your foot flexed. Take your left hand and sweep it behind you, grabbing on the outside of the left foot. Now, bring the right foot. Bring the left foot down to the ground. And then push your booty back towards your right heel. Now turn your right ribs towards your left ribs even more. Look over that left shoulder. And then move everything forward without letting that right heel move away from the right glute. I can't talk. Find your breath. If there's discomfort, don't run away from it. Be curious about what's on the other side of it. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale. Slowly lowering that foot down to the ground. Bring the left hand down to the ground. Tuck the right toes, lift the right knee. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come into a high plank. Exhale, rocking it back. Look up in between the hands, jump, step, or tiptoe up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, nose to knee. Let your head go, shake it out. Shake it yes, shake it no. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, nose to knee. Inhale, chair pose. Bring your hands to your heart space, stay in your chair pose. Inhale, lift the right knee into the chest, flex the right foot, cross the right ankle over the left knee, and then sit down into your chair pose. Keep this right foot nice and flexed. Every inhale, you feel a little lift of the crown of the head. Every exhale, you sit a little bit lower. Keep your belly activated here. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lifting the right knee into your chest. Exhale, kicking the leg behind you into your warrior three. Keep moving the heart space forward. Have a slight bend in the left knee. And then internally rotate that right leg, moving the inner thigh towards the ceiling as the right pinky toe moves down towards the ground. And then cinch at the waist. Pull the lower ribs towards one another. Take a deep inhale. On your exhale, slowly reach the arms forward as you turn your right toes towards the right, bending the left knee as slow as mindful as you can. Come into your warrior two. Now settle in here. Look down at your left toes and make sure you can see the first two toes. If you can't, just open up your knee a little bit. And then bring your focus to your right leg. Step into the knife edge of that right foot. Lift the arch of the right foot. Tuck your tailbone slightly as you lift the side bodies up and lift the heart space just a little bit. And then soften the shoulder blades down as you reach and expand the fingertips away from each other, looking over the left hand. Take one more deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale, slowly coming onto the right toes, coming into your crescent pose. Exhale, bring your hands into your heart space. And then slowly lift back into your warrior three. Inhale, bring the right knee into the heart space. Exhale, dropping that foot down to the ground. Sit down into your chair pose. Inhale, lift the left knee into the chest as you flex your left foot. And then cross your left ankle over your right knee. Sit down into your chair. Flex that left foot. Cinch at the waist. Press the palms together. Inhale, little gentle rise of the crown of the head. Exhale, sit low. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, slowly lifting the left knee into the chest as you straighten the right leg. As slow as you can, coming into your warrior three, moving the heart space forward. Extending the left leg behind you. Have a slight bend in your right knee. Internally rotate that left inner thigh towards the ceiling. Flex your left foot. Take a deep inhale. Start moving the arms forward as you turn the left toes over towards the left wall, and then bend the right knee, slowly landing into your warrior two. Now set yourself up here. Look at your toes, make sure you can see them. Feel the energy moving down your left hip, out the knife edge of that left foot. Lift the left arch of your foot. Tuck your tailbone slightly and then lift the heart space. Soften the shoulders, extend the fingers away from each other. Finding your breath. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come onto the left toes as you lift the hands high to the sky into your crescent pose. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, bring your hands into your heart center as you come back into your warrior 3. Inhale, lift the left knee into the chest. Ooh, shaky. Exhale, place the left foot down to the ground. Close the eyes down and just feel. Feel into your body. Notice what's going on. Notice the sensations. Inhale, come high into the toes. Lift the hands above the head. Exhale, begin to bend the knees as you move your hands forward, bringing your hips down towards your heels. Reaching forward, leaning forward, pull the pelvic wall up and in. So squeeze your mula bun. Feel like you're squeezing pee. And then slowly drop onto the heels. And then down onto the tush. Move the feet forward just a little bit. Reach the arms forward and slowly begin to come onto your spine. Moving as slow as possible. Once you land, bring the feet to the outsides of the mat, bring the knees towards one another to touch. And then bring your arms into a cactus pose. Just landing onto the ground, settling. Widening the knees away from each other, begin to windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Taking your time, being mindful, not rushing anything. Coming back to center. Bring your legs into a happy baby pose, grabbing onto the outsides of the ankles or the outsides of the feet. And then gently press the tailbone down to the ground as you feel the spreading of the shoulder blades away from each other. And a gentle press into the ground, the back of the skull. And just softening the belly, softening the face and the shoulders. Slowly bringing the big toes to touch. And then the soles of the feet, allowing the soles of the feet to drip down to the ground. The knees dripping out to the sides of your mat, bringing your hands on your belly. And then wiggling the shoulders away from the ears. And now coming back to a calm breathing. Feeling a natural rise of the belly underneath the hands and a natural fall. Taking one more deep inhale here. And exhale. Extending your legs into your Shavasana, your final yoga pose, the most important pose of them all. Extending the feet to either corners of the mat, bringing your arms out by the sides, palms facing up. And just see how fast you can drop. Softening your jaw and your face. Softening the back of the heart into the front of the heart. Softening the belly. can continue to rest here for another 2 to 5 to 10 minutes, however long you'd like. Allowing your body to digest what it just did. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel. You can also find me at www.tomasinmarshallyoga.com. Thank you for spending your time with me, your energy. It was an honor and a privilege to teach and guide you. Namaste.